Streaming live on WFLA Now. Powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Okay, so apparently everyone is live covering
from answers.
So
the FBI calling
those
a press
of you who
conference
chose
after
to be
partial
here
human remains
over other
reportedly
channels,
found
really
here at the Carlton
grateful,
Reserve in an area
it. Thank you so
previously
much.
underwater and near a backpack that reportedly had items in it that might have belonged to Brian Laundrie. We're about to find out from the FBI themselves what has transpired here today in Florida. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. We are completely honed in here on the makeshift podium that has been set up at Myakkahatchee, right outside where so many different law enforcement agencies have gathered for the discovery, according to NBC News and others that have been reporting this now, the discovery of partial human remains, or what appears to be partial human remains, at Myakkahatchee. That is the area where the silver Ford Mustang convertible of Brian Laundrie was discovered in September. The citation that was put on that vehicle that was right here on Reisterstown Road in our neck of the woods here in the Tampa Bay area in rural Sarasota County. Let's go here live full screen, and let's just kind of put up the audio a little bit here, and we'll listen in.
Yeah, how about you put up the audio?
Just some chattering here in the background, Walt. Being joined here on WFLA Now by Walt, WFLA 8 on your side senior investigator Walt Buteau. And Walt, the entire world's going to be watching this press conference,
Absolutely.
Especially those who have been honed into this story from day one and have not stopped.
I noticed that too, Patricia.
From us on WFLA and
I
other
noticed
media
that too. He looks just like Jeff Goldblum.
2 hours ago would have been 2:26. Items of interest. This is from the FBI. A tweet. Items of interest were located at the Carlton Reserve this morning in connection with the search for Brian Laundrie. Important timeline there. Found this morning around the time, perhaps, that the Laundries were there. According to their attorney, Stephen Bertolino, an FBI evidence response team is processing the scene. That was again. That happened early afternoon. We showed you video of that. And then just a short time ago, 35 minutes ago, media alert, FBI Tampa will brief the media. Now, keep in mind, it's FBI Denver that has led this investigation. And these tweets, by the way, are coming from FBI Denver, but FBI Tampa will brief the media at 4:30 concerning today's developments in the search for Brian Laundrie at the entrance of Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park there in Northport, Florida. So that's what we know, and we expect to know more at 4:30. We also know that backpack, we believe, according to NBC, was found near those human remains. We do not know what the remains, how much, the amount of these remains. We do not know that.
We don't really know anything about the remains whatsoever,
I guess
other
there's
than
a school
senior
bus
law enforcement
that drops
officials, sources within senior,
in my
or
backyard,
sources that are
and,
senior law enforcement officials informing to members of the media that partial human remains, or what appears to be partial human remains, were found in an area that was
coming down the hill when they get dropped off from school.
underwater.
So.
And that is a huge component here to this story, because we don't know how long the remains have been here. But remember back to September, how wet this area was. I mean, we're talking in some areas knee deep, waist deep in water.
Water moccasins.
I'm killing it right now,
all
dude.
that stuff.
A tremendous amount of wildlife here at the reserve. It's
I don't
not
want to
visible,
give
but
away too much, but I'm doing
gators.
really well.
You'll find deer. You'll
good
find
enough
snakes.
to where,
you'll find coyotes,
I saw
panthers.
a thing
a
on
lot
TikTok.
of different wildlife here at the Carlton.
Yeah, we don't need to hear with it. I'll keep updated real quick on the weight loss thing. I decided to. I saw this thing on TikTok and I prepped them. I can't wait to cook them, but it's like bratwurst, right? I get these bratwurst and you cut them down the middle, and you take these cheese sticks, they're kind of like rectangular and flat, about that long, and you put them in the bratwurst and then just wrap them in bacon. I'm gonna bake those bad boys. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. I earned it. But yeah, I'm down a significant amount of pounds because I put it this way. I went to the gym 3 times yesterday. 3 times because I ate a steak.
Office out of Denver, which obviously would be the closest office to where the body was found in Wyoming 50 days ago. The body was found on the 19th So it's been about 40 days, but it was about 50
Wow,
days
good for
ago
you. Good for you,
when,
T.
according to various documents, we can narrow down that Gabby Petito was allegedly killed. The victim of homicide, according to the FBI, the victim of strangulation, according to the medical examiner.
Live across all of our platforms here on WFLA Now, and we'll again break down what we have learned in the aftermath here on this stream, wherever you're watching from. JB Buno, Walt Buteau here with you live, and we're going to find out here alongside the rest of the world what has transpired today, what discovery has been made. And even though we're going to find out more, we are not going to find out everything, Walt, that the FBI knows. They're going to keep some information, perhaps most information, close to the vest. But they have called this press conference here for a very specific reason, and we're about to find out what that reason is.
And, keep in mind, they're going to keep information close to the vest, but it is very possible that they do not know as much as we might think they know. This is not a television show. This is real life. But perhaps the remains were discovered this morning. It's now been only 5 hours since they've had those remains. So what do they know? They may not know a whole lot. They may be telling us very basic information because that is all they have. Obviously, no forensic study on these remains. We do know when Gabby Petito's remains were found, it was, I believe, another day or so. That was on the 19th that the news conference was held, that the remains were found, and they identified them as Gabby Petito. But we did not find out the manner of death until, I believe, a day or so later. So patience with the investigators at this point. And the big question is, does this close this case? Is this Brian Laundrie? And do we now have a closed case where we have a homicide, but no live defendant to prosecute?
And let's
find that out.
Begin right there. That is the big question. The partial human remains discovered today at the Carlton Reserve here in Myakkahatchee.
All right,
Is that Brian Laundrie? Is that Brian Laundrie? So many people, of course, have been on the lookout for Brian Laundrie. There have been sightings. Here comes.
All right, I'm refreshing because some people are saying that mine kind of it. Let me skip the ads because, of course, that's the case with my shit all
You're
the
not
time.
ready for it.
All available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days. I know you have a lot of questions, but we don't have all the answers yet. We are working diligently to get those answers for you. We are grateful for the dedication and professionalism of the Northport
come
Police
on, man.
Department,
Don't accept an award. Tell us what's going on.
Local agencies. Complex investigations such as this cannot be accomplished by one agency alone, but there's just too many agencies to name them all here today. Portions of the Myakkahatchee Creek Environment Park and Carlton Reserve will remain closed to the public until further notice. This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask the public to maintain distance from any law enforcement personnel, equipment, vehicles, and other related activity for the safety of the public and to protect the integrity of our work. We have no additional comment related to today's activities.
What'd I tell you?
Our FBI Denver office is the lead investigative agency, and all future inquiries should be directed to them. We appreciate the tremendous support from the public and continue to ask for your assistance in bringing this investigation to close. Thank you.
Was the backpack found near the body? Justice for Gabby!
They're not taking any questions?
Justice for Gabby!
Freaking FBI, man.
Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby! Justice for
Now you can hear, that's interesting. Everybody's chanting justice for Gabby, justice for Gabby. And I'm sensing some contempt from these people towards law enforcement.
WFLA Now. Here is JB Buno.
You hear the calls. Justice for Gabby.
I mean, is it fair to assess that there's some contempt for law enforcement in them chanting that like that?
After the FBI announces information that we have been
What did
receiving.
But Margot, I
over the last
predicted
several
this,
hours.
guys. I told
Partial
you
human
guys.
remains discovered
There-
here today at the Carlton Reserve near a backpack and a notebook. A backpack
Yeah,
and a
it
notebook
was
that might
absolutely
belong
whack.
to Brian Laundrie, a scene that is now going to take several days for them to comb through. An evidence response team.
So, but I'm pretty sure, I would like to think that if they had a confirmation that it was, that was Brian Laundrie's body, I would like to think that they would have at least confirmed that. It was like, and Andy's got a great point here, because if you notice this, Andy, tell me otherwise, if this was not the complete polar opposite of the press conference that took place that you covered yesterday. I mean, it's just the polar opposite of that. We got absolutely no information from them whatsoever. So they set up this whole thing to not take any questions at all. I mean, not even, I mean, I give them enough. I appreciate them enough to where they're like, you know, instead of taking questions going and wasting everybody's time going, sorry, it's an ongoing investigation, I can't answer that. Next question. Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and discuss that yet. Next question. Yeah, we're not going to go ahead and discuss that yet because it's an ongoing investigation. Next question. So, you know, I'm glad that they were just like, okay, that's it, walked away, instead of wasting our time, that any more of our time. So I'll give them that, because, you know, I'm the guy that finds the positive in everything if I can. But this was ridiculous. You know, I mean, we all expected some sort of, you know, at least confirmation of whether it's Brian or whether it's not Brian. So now we are exactly where we were before this press conference was, and which is nowhere. So what was the point of the press conference? I mean, what was the point of the press statement? That doesn't mean that necessarily, Rowan. It doesn't mean that necessarily. It could still be identified. Yeah, they sure did, Luna, didn't they? They definitely spent more time setting up the mics than the conference. I mean, let's see what Jeff Goldblum and Homeboy have to say. Money guy.
I get the frustration, but you're chanting to the investigators who are trying to figure out what they have, and the worst thing they could possibly do is say it's Brian Laundrie without certainty, and then find out it's not.
Yeah, without certainty. Sure.
That would be worse than us doing that.
I want to clarify. I believe that we can have it now that they did say the backpack and other items, the backpack and the notebook, are items that belong to Brian Laundrie, and this is now consistent now with Stephen Bertolino's comments earlier on today that Chris and Roberta Laundrie were there at the reserve this morning. That's Brian Laundrie's parents participating in the search with the Carlton Reserve being open with Mayaka.
So they found a backpack, the backpack and the notebook, but they didn't confirm whether or not. I'm sorry, I just can't help but laugh at that. Let's see what Annie's saying here. It's ridiculous. There was no need to do this. The FBI already made an official tweet saying exactly what they said up there. Right. That there's nothing that was said there that couldn't have been said in a simple tweet. You know, unreal, man. It's stupid. That's a good point too, Annie. Thank you. Annie saying if the notebook had any sort of explanation from him, I'd imagine the water destroyed the ink. Right. Like, how would you, right? There's a notebook found, but all these weeks, there's no way that anything in that notebook is legible. I can't imagine that anything in that notebook would be legible. I mean, maybe a word here and there, maybe, but no. But here's the thing, though. Let's unless he took 2 backpacks with him and it's some elaborate decoy or something like that. Okay, I would imagine that if that is his backpack, those are probably his remains. I mean, if he went out there to be a survivalist, you need your backpack. You know what I'm saying? If you're going out there as a survivalist, you're taking a backpack with you. The things that are essential to your survival are most likely in that backpack. And if that backpack was found without him, then chances are he didn't survive. Wow. Wow, I am is equal. Why am I not surprised by that? Why am I not surprised by that? And you know it's clickbait because it's an alt channel. You know it's clickbait. Like deliberate clickbait because it's an alt channel. All right. So I'm just going to continue. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on how annoyed I am with that complete waste of time that they call a press conference. You know, I'm not gonna go watch that. I'm not gonna give that a click. I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that we're here, and reiterate the fact that even though I realize that there's only a few of us in here for this one, and I appreciate you all being here, but it's still very, very important that we focus on the actual issue that is at hand. The actual issue regarding this case is DV, and focus needs to be on DV. So as you can see, I highlighted it here, but Cherry is sharing the DV hotline. If you are a victim of DV or you know anybody who is, it could save their life if you report it. And I realize, I realize that a lot of times we look at things, like I said in my last live earlier, we look at things like it's none of our business. We don't want to get involved. And if the reason being is you don't want that person to be mad at you, or you don't want your friendship with that person to be somehow affected in a negative way, well, ask yourself if you're being selfish. Because it sounds to me like that's the case. Because this case is a perfect, in my opinion, this case is a perfect example of why DV awareness is so important. Like we saw the body cam footage where that was completely and totally mishandled. And whether Brian had been arrested or even if they had placed Gabby under arrest, it may have saved her life. And if they would simply, if law enforcement would simply put more into their budget into this type of situation, it could absolutely save someone's life. I truly believe that, like I said in the last live, I'm going to continue to focus on this. The more I continue covering this case, the main issue here is DV, and how it was handled was, I don't necessarily think that it was the police officers' fault directly in how it was handled. I think it's a question of budget. I think it's a question of priority. I feel that if there was a a DV specialist, someone who specializes, a mental health professional who is also deputized in some way, shape, or form, who is charged with the opportunity or with the responsibility of coming out to a call, as well as the other responding officers, to be able to sit down with each party individually and ask the right questions and assess what the situation is, because they're experienced in this issue. They could probably come up with more, with more. They could probably come up with a more, with a tighter assessment than what took place in that body cam footage. Yeah, see, so Cherry lives in the UK, and in the UK, she's saying that they have DV trained cops there. And I wonder what this statistic, I'm curious what statistics are in the UK of DV related deaths, the ratio of that versus how many take place here in the US. I'm wondering if there's a drastic difference or not. And I don't think we're going to get any special reports, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. But we're going to keep the focus here on DV. Let's go to Google, shall we? Okay, the newest thing that I have here is from the BBC News. Okay, so this is 2019. So 173 people, right? And they said it was at an all-time high that year. So let's check the US. Having a hard time finding a number for the US. That's in 2019. And these are gun-related deaths. Okay, so domestic killings in 2020. Okay, this might be what I'm looking for. Wow. That's crazy. So that's not what I expected at all. Either something's wrong here with these statistics, or okay. So is that just Minnesota? Okay, never mind. Okay, so they're saying 2019 it was 21 people, but that's in Minnesota. Okay, nothing happens in Minnesota. So that's weird to me. Oh, okay. Here we go. So, does anybody remember the number I said for UK in 2019? I think it was like 179. I already can't remember. But here, hold on. This is crazy. This is crazy. And that's just in 2009. Hold on. So in 1999, 1,218 women and 424 men were killed in the U.S. domestic violence related deaths. In 2007, it went to 2,340. But it doesn't say further than that. It's almost like a poll hasn't been taken since then. But I imagine that it climbed even higher. Okay, domestic violence statistics in 2019. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say. Wow. So, I mean, I imagine that it just climbs higher and higher, and especially with COVID happening. Yeah, exactly, Ames. Good point. That's what I was just saying. With COVID happening, I imagine that it's climbed even higher. So already, I'm sure it's more than that here, though, Cherry, which is crazy. My point of bringing this up is Cherry was saying that in the UK, they have a DV specialist that comes out to assess the situation the way that I'm proposing that we should have that standard in every law enforcement agency in the country. I believe that would absolutely help the situation and avoid situations like this, or help avoid situations like this. But what I'm realizing right now is you know, just in 2009, if there was already more than double that here, I imagine it's climbed much higher since then. I don't think that the numbers would drop, you know, drastically 10 years later. You know what I mean? Here in the United States, I would imagine that they would increase. And I realize, I mean, you can't put so much of a budget into mental health, mental health awareness when it comes to law enforcement. I mean, they do what they can. As far as that goes, if somebody's showing signs of mental health issues, then what they do, like in Colorado, it's called an M1, and then they take them in for observation. In Florida, it's called a Baker Act. So they have procedures for that, so that they actually take them to a facility where there are mental health professionals who can assess what they need and what kind of help they need. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is specifically DV, specifically that. Somebody who specializes in that, somebody who can assess the situation as best as they possibly can, and sit down with each party individually and assess what's going on, and then try to figure out a solution. Figure out who's falling under the category of commonly that would most likely be lying about it. Seeing normal signs of somebody who is usually the aggressor, or seeing normal signs of somebody who is usually the victim, and being able to assess that better than an untrained in that area responding police officer could, which is exactly what I believe the case to have been in that body cam footage that we witnessed. So I think that, let me see. Cherry, you said you gave some stats. Let me see. Where are those? Oh, okay. You're talking about in 2021 in the UK. Yeah, I mean, but that's the point I was absolutely trying to make. If they have that going on, if they have a DV specialist that shows up to every call in the UK, and the numbers are significantly lower as far as deaths relating to DV, if the numbers are significantly lower there, then that would just tell me that that's something that would be worth implementing here in the US to bring those numbers down. Because make no mistakes, you know what I mean? Make a mistake that this case is not. It's not about just another sickie that you know is going around kidnapping and essaying and then murdering people. Ames, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. That's not what the case is here. This is a case of DV and how grave of a danger DV is. That's all this is. Make no mistake about it. It's nothing more complicated than that. This guy was abusive, and she was afraid of him, and she was strangled to death. It probably wasn't planned. It was most likely a crime of passion, and yes, thank you, Shelley. We just went over that, but I appreciate it. Yes, he said investigators found what is believed to be human remains along with personal items such as a backpack, notebook, blend, or brown laundry that can be interpreted different ways. Only the property. They only confirmed that the backpack and the notebook were Brian's. They didn't say that, obviously they have to do some more extensive investigating to actually confirm that whether or not it's Brian. But I'm going to say it is. At this point, I'm going to say it is. But and the reason why I'm saying that is not for the reasons that everybody's saying, oh, well, it's too much of a coincidence that the backpack and the car and the notebook. No. What I'm saying is, if that's his backpack that he's relying on to carry around tools that he needs for survival, and that backpack is not with him, I'm going to say it's safe to say that he has not survived. So somebody earlier in my previous live asked me if I believe that whether or not Brian was alive or not. I at the time, I didn't have enough information, but the backpack really shifts my opinion over to I'm going to say he's not alive. I thought that too, but why? You know what I mean? Why the two backpacks, right? I mean, only one backpack fits on your back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's two backpacks that he tried to create a diversion and use one backpack to lead them to believe that he was no longer alive, okay, I get that, but to me, that's a little far-fetched. It's a little far-fetched. I'm hoping that's the case, and the FBI is onto it, but considering that they're not ready to, but somebody's remains were found near that stuff. You know what I mean? We're not talking about we're not talking about whether or not they just found a backpack and notebook. No, they found human remains near his backpack and his notebook. So, those are human remains, people. it seems to me, you know, unless he's a serial killer, right? Unless he's absolutely responsible for the double murder of the couple in Moab, right? Unless he's absolutely responsible for that, and he's going around killing whoever he wants, and he took some body and made it completely and totally unidentifiable as best as he possibly could, and put it there and planted his backpack and his notebook there to throw off law enforcement and fake his own death so that he could escape. That's possible. It's possible, but it's pretty dramatic and pretty unlikely. I'm not going to lean that way just yet. I'll leave that to the true crime community to do that. The real crime community, we're not going to jump to that conclusion just yet. Because it's not likely. It's a little far-fetched. It's a little movie of the week, guys. And no, he's no Ted Bundy. Absolutely not. Right. I'm not, Mad March, I'm with you. I'm not ready to give him that kind of credit. I'm just I'm not ready to give him that kind of yeah. I mean, nobody said it wasn't possible, Margot. Nobody said it wasn't possible, but I'm not counting on it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not counting on it. Like, I'm not even investing much energy into that. So for Texas only, in 2019, 185 women. In Texas only. In the UK, there was less than that. In the entire UK, there was less than that. Yeah, I'm with you, Lokomai. I'm with you. I don't believe you plan, but I do have questions as to the parents and coincidental things are. Yeah, we need to hear more facts, and that's probably what we're all waiting on. Sherry, is the actual autopsy results. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take an autopsy to identify who this person is. Could be other things, like you said earlier, like it could be tattoos, it could be, scars, anything. But Brian doesn't strike me as the type of dude that's got many scars. You know what I mean? You gotta kind of have to live your life a certain way to obtain some scars, and he's not the kind of guy that I think has gotten many scars. Soy boy ain't got no scars. Exactly, Cherry. He ain't got no scars. Right. And that's all it really boils down to. I mean, DNA could be processed, and I mean, that it could be a rush put on that. Like normally, like if you take a regular DNA test just for the sake of trying to decide like if somebody's your kid or whatever, it could take 3 weeks, but DNA could absolutely determine whether or not it's him. And I would imagine that the FBI has the power to be able to put a rush on that. Margot, I get it, man. I believe you. I believe everybody in this chat probably has more scars than this dude. Again, guys, I'm going to be stressing this a lot. If you or anybody you know is a victim of DV, please reach out, report it. If it turns out that it could save their life, that loved one will be grateful to you in the long run. Hopefully. But at least you could sleep at night knowing you did everything you could, And here's another site that Locomai here is sharing. Apparently, it's a site where you can actually educate yourself on DV and safety and planning. You can only do what you can. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's always the person's responsibility to take action on their own. You can only do your best to show support and show that you're only looking out for their best interests. You're not trying to be nosy. You're just trying to help. And hopefully this case shines a light on this, and hopefully this case will wake up a lot of victims that are currently in a really bad situation, and this case will create awareness, and hopefully mainstream media will make this a focus. We can't count on the folks who made horse dewormer gate a thing, but at least we can count on somebody. Hopefully, if we spread the word, hopefully, other YouTubers will focus on this and try to create awareness and make that the issue here. Because I truly believe that's exactly what the issue is here. This isn't just another murder, It's not. This is a case of DV. And you're right. You're right, Mr. Harlan's Tales of History's Famous Burglars. You're absolutely right. Ultimately, it comes down to the individual who makes the decision to get help. But I highly recommend that if you're in a position to where it's just a loved one who you are friends with, or not absolute immediate family, I would recommend calling a professional and getting them to try to talk to them and getting help. Try to talk them into getting help. Because that's the thing. It's like, that's why I've come off in the past in this on this channel. I've come off in the past to some people like I'm being insensitive towards someone who's having tendencies to unalive themselves. And I've come off cold because I say, hey, don't talk to me about that. And then they get upset because they want me to try to counsel them or console them in some way. I'm not. The reason why I don't do that, it's not because I'm insensitive. It's the opposite. It's because I want you to be helped. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not trained to help you in that area. I can encourage you to get help. That's the best that I can do. But I am not trained in that area. I am not a mental health professional by any means. So it is irresponsible of me to try to be a hero in that sense. I don't know how to talk you down out of that. I don't know how to make you feel like your life is worth living. I know that I could tell you that it is, but I can't tell you why. I don't know how to approach that. So, you know, I've had people in my chat go, "Oh, I'm having a hard time and I'm feeling suicidal." Okay, well, here's the suicide prevention hotline. You know, here's the suicide prevention hotline. Please call them. And it's not me being insensitive. It's me simply saying I'm not trained in that department. Find somebody who is. Talk to somebody who is, because I encourage you. You're important to me. I need you to get help. I want you to get help. But I'm just some jackass on YouTube, man. You know what I mean? What if I say the wrong thing? You know? That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to hire, you know, I'm not going to hire a homicide detective to go defuse a bomb. If I'm in the police department, I'm not going to assign a homicide detective to go defuse a bomb. I'm going to call the bomb squad, right? You know, I'm not. That's, you get a hold of somebody who's good point, Cherry. You get a hold of somebody who's trained in that department, you know, because all I can tell you is that your life matters to somebody. It absolutely matters to somebody. You know, it matters to me, but that's as far as I can go. You know, I can't, I'm just some guy here with a microphone. I'm not, you know, I'm not claiming to be a mental health professional or an expert in the situation. I've got my own struggles. I'm trying to manage my own struggles. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not qualified to do that for you. Yeah, I'm not saying if it's a friend not to talk to him. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, you guys are strangers, you know? You are. I mean, I love you guys, but most of you guys are using handles, made up handles, and have, like, Locomai here has her dog as an avatar. You know what I mean? I you know, there's only so much that I can do. I don't know your life personally enough to where I feel comfortable being able to explain to you what to do and how to handle your situation. All I can tell you is what helps me, you know, like as I continue with my diet and and continue with this healthy little competition I got going on with Mexi and Dad Challenge podcast. I mean, it's boosting my confidence. You know what I mean? Because I'm working so hard. I remember I went to the gym twice yesterday and then came home and then ate and watched a movie and drank coffee and realized I couldn't sleep. So the gym that I normally go to is closed. And I went to the gym in my apartment complex. So I went to the gym 3 times yesterday. 3 times. Didn't go to bed till like 5 a.m. And I was working out 80% of the entire time I was awake that day. You know? And I felt incredibly accomplished. I can't wait to go to the gym now, which I'm going to be doing in about 10 minutes. So yeah, like setting little personal goals for myself, that helps me, you know? I don't know what's going to help you. All I'm saying is, if it helps me, it's worth a try. I have healthy solutions that work for me. And if they help you, great. I hope they do. And tell me all about it. Please tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. If applying the glare helps you, and focusing on gratitude, logic, awareness, acceptance, accountability, rationality, empathy, resilience, if focusing on those individual things helps you, please let me know. Tell me all about it. Absolutely. But I'm in no way telling you that is what will work for you. I'm telling you that it's what works for me. And if it helps you, please let me know. Sure. Great. It's worth a try. There's nothing unhealthy about it, is what I'm saying. Now, I'm in no way saying do that and don't take medication if you're supposed to be on medication for your mental health issues. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this works for me. These are positive things. There's no way that they can be bad for you, is what I'm saying. There's no way that exercise and eating right and focusing on these things in the glare are going to be bad for you. So if you struggle with mental health issues, if you struggle with anxiety and depression, give them a try. And if they work for you, please let me know. It's going to make me happy. But I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that is the solution to your depression and anxiety. Everything's different for everybody. There you go. See, Cherry, cookies and weed works for her, And I agree with that 100%, Lori Dozer. We all have to be good for ourselves, and then we're able to help others. You can't be, consistently good for other people if you're not good to yourself. You can't expect others to love you if you don't love yourself. And I'm not saying people won't love you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can't expect it unless you love yourself. Oh man, I could use some cheesecake. Cheesecake. Oh, I missed that. But yeah, I've got great Thanksgiving plans. Oh man, I can't wait till Thanksgiving. Oh man, I can't wait till Thanksgiving. I have fantastic Thanksgiving plans. Yeah, Fruity Pebbles are fantastic. It'd be awesome is to somehow make like a cheesecake crust out of Fruity Pebbles. What? That's what I'm saying, Locum. I am telling you. Dude, sometimes my stoner mind just blows my mind away. Oh, the conference was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time. They didn't give us any information that we didn't already have, except they confirmed that they confirmed the items found belonging to Brian, which were a backpack and a notebook. But I'm guessing that the backpack. Now, again, here's another thing about the backpack. Now, what if the backpack was empty? What if he switched? What if his folks brought out a new backpack for him because the one that he had was all raggedy, and they were like, here's a new backpack. And then he ditched the old backpack, put all the survival stuff in the new backpack, and then took off. But I doubt it. I doubt it. Exactly, Rowan. Cherry, I wish. Please. I wish. Why do you think I'm trying to lose this right here? So I can reach. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, you got here late. We did already go over that, but I'll say it again. If they found a backpack, I'm pretty sure that if he's trying to, I mean, that's how he carries everything that he needs to survive. So if they found his backpack, I'd say there's a slim chance that he's found alive. If they found his backpack near the remains, near human remains, I'm guessing that those human remains are probably his. So, what do you think, Annie? I'm thinking that if they found a backpack belonging to him, and if I'm guessing that his backpack is going to be his lifeline to keeping everything that he needs to survive. If the backpack is found and they're found near human remains that are found, I'm guessing that's chances are they're probably him. He needs that backpack. If he's going to travel, if he's going to hike, he needs that backpack in order to survive. The things that he needs to survive are probably in that backpack. But what I'm hoping for is, like I was saying, like Annie was saying earlier, and as I was saying earlier, one thing her and I are in agreement on here is if yeah, I think it's him too, Annie. I think it's him too. At this point, I think it's him too. I'm hoping it's not, but again, I'll say this again. I said it in the last live. I'll say this again. I think that if it is him, this brings closure to the Petitos and the Schmitz. So that's a good thing. But mostly closure, because I think to get absolute closure, they need to hear something, some sort of acknowledgement from the Laundrie family, some sort of. I think it does. I mean, I don't imagine. I can't speak for them, obviously, Annie, but I don't imagine that they want to have to go through the pain of a trial. And this dude is not going to plead guilty. With the fact that he lawyered up immediately, the fact that he completely and totally shucked any responsibility from himself. This is a guy who totally had every intention, if going to court, was going to plead not guilty. And I don't want to see the family go through that. So to me, justice is justice, man. You know what I mean? I'd prefer it be through due process, but if he unalived himself, no, that's not justice. No, I don't think that's justice necessarily, but it's at least some level of closure. It's some degree of closure. But as far as if the elements, if he is dead by means of the elements of the Carlton Reserve, well, I'll take that. To me, it's sort of justice. You know, it's not ideal justice, but justice served, because this family can move on finally. My opinion is the family, whatever it takes for this family to move on. Right. And, you know, and that's not for, yeah. And I'm glad you worded it that way, because that's you and that's not everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be very careful as to not speaking for this family, because I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know how they feel about it. All I know is they've been extremely classy in the way that they've handled themselves. And they've continued to make this all about Gabby. And they started this Gabby Foundation. And it's fantastic that they've done that, because they've only focused on trying to keep her memory alive and do positive things with this horrible situation. Maybe nature held him accountable, Annie. That's just how I'm looking at it. But yeah, like I said, I'd prefer it to be through due process. Ideally, he turns himself in, pleads guilty, end of story, bada boom, bada bing. But, you know, and then we're looking at another Watch situation where people start spouting conspiracy theories and going, he's innocent, you know, and I don't want to hear that, and I don't want the family to have to deal with that. But that's unavoidable, or inevitable, as it were. It's inevitable. You know, this case is such a circus now that months or even years later, there's going to be YouTubers that are going to be milking this for as much as they can get out of it. Exactly. Exactly. Keep that. Miss me with that. Today was the first day the FBI said Brian Laundrie was a person of interest in the murder of Gabby Petito, which leads me to believe they know those remains are him. This is not the first day that the FBI said that. This is not the first day. They've been saying that he's a person of interest. They've been saying that. Because we've been sitting here arguing whether or not, like, why has the FBI not named him a suspect? They're using the word person of interest, or the term person of interest, versus the word suspect. So, you know, yeah, nah. They've been saying that. Here's my theory, okay? Brian Laundrie was out there hiding out. He saw Gator drinking out of a plastic bottle of water and said, "Hey, Gator, do you know what those things do to the planet?" And that Gator just thought he had meth on him by the way he looked. Meth Gator thought he had meth on him by the way he looked. Took him down for a death row. Death row. Remember that? Crocodile Dundee? I wanted to take me down for a death row. Rolls you over and over and over underwater till you finally stop kicking. Doesn't meth like kill your appetite, right? He's probably safe from the meth gators. Meth gators are probably like, nah, dude. Good. Can't eat right now, bro. You know? Got any meth? And he's got dad jokes. Jolene's over there on the on the recliner. She's chilling. Yeah, he totally. Yeah, he wouldn't even have teeth. You wouldn't even have teeth. I feel like they would have. Now Hatter's Madness. That's actually a really good question, but I feel like they would have specified that it was like a laptop. You know what I mean? They would have said laptop or computer. They wouldn't have said just notebook. You're right. You got you got meth gators out there just moving litter around for no reason. trying to build stuff that don't make sense. Yeah, for real. I mean, they did Shark Tornado, right? Shark Tornado. They made a whole thing out of Shark Tornado. I'd watch Meth Gator. I'd watch that. That sounds like quality television right there. Yeah, Sharknado. That's what it was called. Sharknado. That's right. With the dude from 90210 that nobody cared about. Wasn't he in that? Yeah, man. Yo, just to update you all quick. There's nobody confirmed that is Brian's remains yet. I'm saying I think it is. I'm saying based on what we know so far, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it is, but there's been no confirmation. The only things that have been confirmed that they found belongings of Brian's, but that's the only thing that's been confirmed, and that human remains were found. So, but based on that, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it's Brian. I mean, because why else? And also, why has it been so difficult to find him this whole time alive? You know what I mean? Like, somebody would have had to have spotted him somewhere, you know? Telling you, man, he is no Colton Harris Moore. Okay? He is not no Colton Harris Moore, people. He doesn't have the stuff. You know what I mean? He ain't got the gumption that Colton's got. I can't wait till everything's confirmed and we see a timeline for everything. It's messed up. Did his sister really say that? Did Cassie really say that? That he was mediocre? That's messed up, man. I hope my brother never says anything like that about me. I know he thinks it sometimes, but I hope he never. I hope nothing ever happens to me and my brother says he's pretty mediocre. Yeah, like relax. Let law enforcement do their job. I mean, I'm mad at law enforcement for holding that BS press conference. That was ridiculous. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? That didn't tell us nothing. Tell us nothing that we didn't already know, except for the backpack, you know. Right. Yeah, I mean, they still have it's a process to confirm the identity of someone. So you're just gonna have to wait. You're just gonna have to wait, folks. All right, guys. I'm hungry. I gotta go to the gym. I love you guys very much. I'm gonna go ahead and call it, and we will do this again very soon, my friends. Be sure to log on to the Dad Challenge podcast at 8:30 p.m. I don't know if he canceled it or not, blah, 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 blah. But he's got a live scheduled regarding this case at 8:30 p.m. I should be there in chat. I hope to see you guys there. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Thank you.